seniors, this is Miss Roberts. I'm here to help you prepare for your senior exhibition. As you've probably heard, there are two parts to your senior exhibition. The first part is your portfolio. The second part is your presentation. Today I'm going to be giving you some very important information about both parts, so please pay close attention. The first thing you want to make sure you have is this senior exhibition information packet. If you don't have one, please stop by the counseling office and pick one up from the shelf in front of my office. In it, you will find all of the information you will need to complete your portfolio and to prepare for your senior presentation. The next place to look for important information about your senior exhibition is on the Senior Exhibition website, located in the Students tab on the Steele Canyon homepage. Here you will find a downloadable packet, sample presentation and portfolio videos, and a list of teachers who can assist you with your portfolio and presentation. After senior exhibitions are completed, you will also find your presentation results here. Now let's talk about your portfolio. All seniors have been assigned to a teacher and a time slot on Wednesday, January 20th in the morning before school starts to get your portfolio checked for completion. A PDF was emailed to all seniors and parents with a list of all time slots and teacher assignments. If you did not receive this, please come see me or Miss Stanley. So let's take a look at what a completed portfolio looks like. You should use a 2 to 3 inch binder that has a plastic sleeve on the front so you can insert your cover sheet. The cover sheet should have senior exhibition portfolio, your name, and your ID number. You do not need to include your lead judge name or presentation date because you won't have that information yet. You should have 6 visible tab dividers that separate the following sections: freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year reflections, community service, and future planning. Each of those sections should have a title page, and sheet protectors should be used to put your documents in. The first section of the binder is the reflections. You must have at least 17 reflections in your portfolio. You can have more, but you cannot have less. A list of the required reflections is in your packet. If you are a transfer student, you will only need 1 reflection for each year at another school, and then all required reflections for your Steele Canyon classes. Instructions about writing your reflections are in your packet. This student put title pages before each reflection and work sample. If the name of the class is not in the title of your reflection, then a cover sheet with the class title is helpful. You are not required to have a work sample for each class, but you should have some for each year. The next section of your binder is the community service section. All students are required to have 40 hours of community service to graduate, unless you are a transfer student. In that case, you are only required to have 10 hours for each year at Steele Canyon. 20 hours can be completed on campus, but the other 20 hours must be off campus for a local organization. A list of appropriate community service activities is in your packet. After completing your community service hours, please be sure to get a letter from the organization or person you worked with, stating what you did, when, and how many hours you earned. Then put that letter in the community service section of your portfolio. The next section of your portfolio is the future planning section. In your packet, you will see a list of the 5 items that go in this section. You must have a completed resume. There is a sample resume in your packet, and you can create a resume on Family Connection in the About Me tab under Interesting Things About Me. You must have 2 career assessments completed and print the results and put in your portfolio. If you completed the personality type assessment, then it is still accessible and printable. If you did not complete the personality type assessment, it is no longer accessible. There are 2 other career assessments to choose from: Strengths Explorer and Career Interest Profiler. Again, you must complete and print the results for 2 of the 3 I've just mentioned. The next section of your portfolio future plan section is the job application. You can use the sample job application provided in your packet or any other job application. The next section is your career plan essay. This essay is about your career plan after graduation. Instructions on what is required in this essay are included in your packet. Lastly, you must include 2 additional items that demonstrate you have done research about a college or career. For example, you can include the blue contact form from the career fair, brochures from colleges or careers, college acceptance letters, or certificates for relevant potential careers. This student included brochures from the Coast Guard where they plan to apply. If you have questions about your portfolio, please see one of the teachers listed on the front of your packet or see me or Miss Stanley. The second part of your senior exhibition is the presentation. You must use PowerPoint or Google Slides for your presentation, and it must be 6 to 8 minutes long. The speech rubric for the presentation can be found in your packet. There are 2 areas you will be evaluated on: your presentation style, or how you present, which is labeled speech performance on the rubric, and what you say in your presentation, which is labeled as speech content on the rubric. First, let's talk about how you present. You will be judged on 5 criteria. Here are some tips on what not to do. The first thing you're being judged on is appropriate language. To meet this standard, you shouldn't use slang words such as like, or you know. Like, you know, when I went to my basketball game, like, you know, that's what I'm talking about. None of that. The second thing you're being evaluated on is vocal expression. Don't mumble or talk softly because then nobody will be able to hear you. Be clear and concise and speak clearly with a voice level that is easy to hear. Eye contact is the third part that you'll be evaluated on. You shouldn't be looking down at your note cards or over at your computer screen the whole time you are presenting. You should be making eye contact with the people on your panel by glancing occasionally at them throughout your presentation, and also not up high at the walls or down low at the floor. The next thing you're being evaluated on is physical expression. To meet this standard, don't rock back and forth or fidget with your hair constantly or do anything else that is distracting from your presentation. You shouldn't put your hands in your pockets while you're presenting either. Appearance is the last thing that you will be evaluated on. I'm wearing a nice business suit that would get a 6 on the rubric. You don't wear clothes that you normally wear to school. Don't wear wrinkled or torn clothes. Here are some examples of students who are dressed for success for their senior exhibitions. I'm going to show you 2 video samples. The first sample video is of a previous student's senior exhibition. It demonstrates a well-planned and well-practiced speech, style, or performance. So please make note of his presentation style, which is the first thing you're being evaluated on. Make note of the language that he uses and his physical expression. Now, this student practiced a lot for his presentation, as you should also.
Good afternoon, my name is Jose Martinez, and just like all of the other students here today, I'm going to present to you a little bit of information about myself, and particularly my life throughout the past 4 years here at Steele Candy. Now, the quote I decided to present is a bit lengthy, but it requires a lot of context. It's from a 2005 commencement speech by Steve Jobs, and it reads like this: "You can't connect the dots looking forwards. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something. Your gut, life, destiny, karma, whatever, because believing that the dots will somehow connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference." This is the theme of my presentation, and the concept of dots will become a little bit more clear as my presentation continues. To begin, I should describe myself as a student. And the first half of high school contrasts greatly with the second half, in the sense that throughout the first 2 years, had you asked me what I wanted to do or what I wanted to become, I would have told you I want to be a math or science teacher. And that's simply due to the fact that those were always the subjects that I was always the strongest at. And it was this confidence that allowed me to say that so easily, but it was also this confidence that caused my writing skills to lack quite a bit. So much so that I was barely passing competency throughout freshman year on essays, and in sophomore year I even had to redo a 10-page research essay known as the iSearch. But there was one thing I was good at, and that was oral presentations. Now that's a bold statement to make, especially in front of the speech teacher, but the rubrics are there. It's clear that I was better than most of my peers in this area, and this leads me into the second half of high school. Because things started to change, and quickly. I was at a point where as a junior in high school I was taking AP Calculus, a course which people tend to fail even in college. So this truly hit me as a wall in terms of who I was as a student and who I was as a person. Because now the idea of becoming a math or science teacher was a lot more distant than it used to be. And I had to self-reflect and really reevaluate what I wanted to do throughout my high school career and throughout my academic life. And so I thought, if writing is just a visual form of speaking, and I'm pretty good at speaking, then why not write as if I'm giving a speech, giving an oral presentation? And so I did, and the second I did, my essay scores began to improve, and I started gaining the confidence to take on creative challenges such as writing poetry and even writing books. Now, this is what I believe truly defines me as a student. My meaningful experience is a little bit different, because people tend to perceive this as a single definitive moment that occurs in our life and changes us drastically. But my meaningful experience is exactly the past 4 years here at Steele Canyon and learning my third language, which is French. Now, I spent a total of 7 semesters in Madame Petrasco's room as either a student or a student aide. And this is pretty insane considering the fact that we only spend 8 semesters total in high school. So what did I do throughout all this time? After the first term, I truly thought of myself as a helper. I was going to other students and helping them learn the language and understand different concepts, and in the process, I was learning different ways of deciphering the French language and language in general, which allowed me to learn it much better myself. And that's largely due to the fact that every student is different. There wasn't a moment in that class where I didn't look at every individual person and think, this person understands this concept, and if you explain it in this way, they'll understand it, but this other student won't understand it, so you have to explain it in this way. And this harnessed this passion for teaching that I used to have with math and science, but now was being applied to languages. It also expanded my connections globally. By learning the French language, I managed to speak to people in Quebec, France, and even Egypt who simply know the language. And that's why that experience was the most meaningful experience throughout my high school career. Now, this is where the concept of dots truly kicks in. Because it's difficult to know where we're going to be 4, 3, even 2 years from now. But I'm at a point in my life where I need to start planning my future and I need to know what direction I want to take. Because my life begins in just a few months. So I applied to 2 universities, which I don't recommend because it's better to have more options. I applied to San Diego State and UC Irvine. San Diego State is close to home and close to heart, literally 10 minutes away from my house, and my brother attended there. UC Irvine is one of the best schools for literature, and while I applied to both with the intent of majoring in French and eventually working towards teaching credentials, I also applied to UC Irvine with the possibility in mind that I could switch my major to literary studies sometime down the road. And yet, the dots continue. Because there's an aspect of my life that I haven't discussed, and that's the fact that throughout the past 2 years I've been working with the online entertainer or YouTuber. He's known as XRPMX13 or Ryan McNulty, and he has several gaming channels targeted towards a younger audience. So what do I have anything to do with that? Well, throughout the past 2 years, I've been working mainly with server management, forum management, and community management in general. But recently, he's also began to include me in the content making process, actually making YouTube videos. So this has opened a wide door to the online entertainment industry that wasn't present before, and it's actually placed a path in my life that I will most likely take, even though it doesn't really have anything to do with anything else in my life. So, as I said, it's difficult to know where you're going to be 4, 3, or even 2 years down the road. And as Steve Jobs said, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. And it's truly believing in this idea that allows me to follow my heart, even when it leads me off the whirlwind path. And that makes all the difference. Thank you.
The second video sample that I'm going to show you demonstrates the content of a well-planned and well-practiced speech. There are 3 areas that you will be evaluated on in this section of your rubric: academic experience, meaningful experience, and future plan. For the purpose of making this video sample, the presenter was sitting at a desk while presenting. When you present, however, you will not be allowed to sit. All students will be required to stand.
Hi, my name is Angelica Cannon, and today I will be presenting my senior exhibition to you. First of all, I'd like to start you off with a quote by G.K. Chesterton. He states, "When it comes to life, the critical thing is whether you take things for granted or whether you take them with gratitude." First of all, for those of you who do not know, My twin sister and I were born in Russia, and our birth mom actually gave us up to be in an orphanage for the first 2.5 years of our life. Then, at the age of 5, we were adopted by an American family, where we live now. We were really grateful to our birth mother for giving us up because she knew that later in life we would be given so many more opportunities than what we had in the orphanage and inside Russia. So that was really, really, really great for her. It was really grateful for us too. So now I'm going to talk about my academic growth. I have grown tremendously in my English classes. For my 9th and 12th grade English classes, I had Mrs. Werland for both of them. She's really interesting, really energetic, and just overall incredible. She helped me with public speaking and also my essay writing. For my essay writing, I learned new techniques into writing essays, and also I built my academic vocab. For public speaking, she made the classroom feel like a huge family, so we didn't feel judged or anything like that. For my next thing, I'm going to talk about my sociology class here. We did do a project called Breaking the Norms, and it helped me into becoming an extrovert, because right now I'm an introvert, but I feel more comfortable with talking to people or explaining or being really outgoing. So Breaking the Norms project, my friend Guillermo and my sister and I decided to crawl on the target floor instead of walking in there. We got a lot of different reactions, some rude, some funny, some maddening, but overall it was a great experience. It definitely helped me to come out of my shell more, which was overall what I'm grateful for. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my Spanish class. I took 3 years here at Steele Canyon, and overall it has really improved my language skills. A couple of months ago, my family and I did go to Mexico, and I was able to understand and communicate with the locals or people there. Even though they didn't speak English, I was able to understand and communicate with them in Spanish. I can definitely use this in the future, and I'm so glad that I took the 3 years here at Steele Canyon. Peer tutoring Chewy. Chewy is the boy here who has special needs. We grew in trust, relationship, anything like that, and it was just a really great bond that we have. I know at the beginning of the year we were both nervous, but right now we're definitely clicked. We go to dance class together. It's a lot of fun. So how much energy I put into the dance class is how much energy he will put out, which is a lot of fun. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my meaningful experience. Last summer, I volunteered at a camp called Camp Harmon. Camp Harmon is different than most camps because it's a camp for people who have disabilities, whether it can be mild to moderate or moderate to severe. We got all age ranges and groups. The first picture is a picture of a man called Dan. He is from England, actually. It was really fun because half the staff was international, they were from England, and then half the staff was from America, all over the States. So it was really great seeing the different cultures and diversities and differences we have in between us. But overall, we clicked and became a family at the end of the summer. The next picture is a picture of a woman named Robin. Robin, as you can see, is in a wheelchair, and her hands, she couldn't move them, and also she was nonverbal, so she wasn't able to speak. That was going to be difficult communicating, but at the end of the week we found a new way to communicate with her. So it was her writing with her hands, so from what she could move, on a table and spelling each word out. By the end of the week, she didn't have to spell out the words. We automatically knew that MED equaled medicine. So overall, new ways to communicate. It was really, we had to think outside the box and really, really fun. The next picture is a picture of me with my hands over my face, and that's called Kangaroo Court. It was an activity at Camp Harmon. It was a lot of fun because the counselors were quote-unquote punished, but it was for the campers' amusement and entertainment. It was a lot of fun, so how much energy you put in is how much energy the campers would give out. If you were funnier, the campers would laugh harder and all that. The next picture is a picture of Sarah. She and I clicked the very first day she got to Camp Harmon. She would only say 3 words throughout the day: Ophelia Cat, Madonna, and Angelica. Hearing your name about 500 times a day can definitely be really, really frustrating, and you have to be patient. I mean, I already have patience, but it definitely struggled. I definitely struggled throughout it. So having the support of my co-counselors with me was really, really tremendous, and I'm definitely grateful for them. For my future planning at Gonzaga University, I plan on attending Gonzaga and being a special education teacher there and getting my degree there. Overall, it's in beautiful Spokane, Washington. I'm really excited to move away because it's going to be a new transition into my life, a new phase in my life. I'm going to be moving away from my twin sister, but in the end, we will be together again, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be able to grow in myself and grow independently. So for me, being a special education teacher, I've always had a passion for working with people who have disabilities. And also, I want to teach middle schoolers who have autism moderate to severe instead of mild to moderate. I have grown up with a cousin who had severe autism, and I just think he's the most amazing person in the world. He's really, really fun and outgoing and amazing. And that's why I want to be a special education teacher, because of him. So overall, I grew academically both in my 9th and 12th grade classes through public speaking and essay writing because I learned so many new techniques and also new vocabulary. My next thing is sociology. I did become more of an extrovert at the end of the year. I was really proud of myself for definitely breaking out of my shell, which was really great. Spanish, I can use Spanish all around the world for places who have Spanish-speaking countries. It was really great, and in the next couple of months, my parents are planning to go to Mexico again, so I will definitely be able to use the 3 years I learned here at Steele Canyon. Peer tutoring Chewy definitely made me want to be a special education teacher. I was a little nervous at first, but in the end, we really did build that strong relationship, and I know what I want to do now with my life. Gonzaga University is the university that I'm going to go to, and I plan on getting my degree in education there. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation.
As a reminder, both of these video samples can be found on the Senior Exhibition website in the Students tab on the Steele Canyon homepage. The details about your Senior Exhibition presentation can also be found in your packet. Don't forget to mark your calendar on January 20th to show your assigned teacher your portfolio. Only students with completed portfolios will be assigned a presentation time. My final tip for you is practice, practice, practice for your presentation. If you have questions or need help preparing, please see one of the staff members listed on the front of your packet, or come see me or Miss Stanley in the counseling office.